Recording in progress, Matt. I got it. I got a Zoom. Hello, all you Chinese CCP nationals. I know they're watching. You know, that's not fair to us, right? Because we should be able to see how many CCP members are watching because they're watching everything on Zoom. Matt, and I had a little glitch. I don't know if we showed it, but the manja cleaver cutting a tomato on the way in. I didn't even realize it. But anyway, get your manja rub at Amazon.com. Matt, Ryder Cup. We got to talk Ryder Cup right off the bat. Once again, my instincts on sport betting is 100% wrong. I'm pretty good at this, right? I said it'd be a record win by the Europeans because of the wind. It was a record win by the, yeah, I know he's pointing at himself. Matt, you got the floor. The Young Bucks.
It just gives me faith in the future of America when the next generation steps up and just, I told you this on Thursday. It's a turnaround of what the U.S. has been doing, playing the old guys like Tiger and Phil. They were washed up. You can't win with the washed up guys. You got to go with the young guys who have no history, no background, and they have nothing to draw from. So therefore, they're free-minded, and they'll play the best. This is the way all sport.
You want to talk about conditions that needed some free mind thinking.
Yes.
Holy shit.
But this is the point. That's why it was to me, it was a great bet taking the U.S. because nobody liked them. And, you know, they've lost 16 out of the last 18 and blah, 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 you know, and I'm like, oh, these guys are just going to, because they have no history. When your mind is free, no matter what you're doing, playing tennis, squash, trading, when you can free the noise and the ego and the second voice in your head, you're just trading. And that's all you need to be doing. And these boys played, bam! I loved how the announcers even were trying to stir up the Koepka, DeChambeau. I'm like, these guys are on the same team. Stop your jib jab. Like, stop the noise. Who gives a shit anymore? That story's played out.
Yeah,
stop
it. I couldn't agree more.
Stop it.
And you know, being a golfer and a hack, it's sometimes brilliant, most of the times not. You know, seeing them struggle, seeing the guys at the best at the game struggle is just, that's, you know, maybe that's just the Chicago in me. Like, yeah, that was awesome to see John Rahm 8 feet off the green, 18 feet away from the pin, chip it 40 yards over the green. Was just like, I think, how does that happen?
Hats off again to John Rahm. The guy has been through the hellish year, and he's probably been my favorite player this year to watch because he's just dominated the game. And he did dominate quite a bit of the Ryder Cup too. I think he played in 17 matches over the 3 days. He was playing like 3 a day. And somehow he was getting it done because he was the young guy. He was the only young guy basically on the Team Euro. The rest were a bunch of old fuddy duds. They looked like dorks. And they just got played.
They had a few younger guys that I had never heard of.
You never heard of them.
Right.
They barely played. They barely played them. So congratulations to the Young Bucks. And I need more Young Bucks to take control of, you know, the future of this country. Get involved. Get involved just like that because you have no history. Get involved.
All right, man, I saw this and I wanted to share it on Friday because I loved it because on Friday it was already evident that the wind was going to be a factor. The most interesting man in the world, Matt, he says, I don't always hit a sand wedge 170 yards, but when I do, it's from a greenside bunker. Oh.
That sounds like my 9-iron trying to hit a 130 out of there, and I hit it 220. Yeah.
The longest you've ever hit 9-iron.
Right, for sure. I'm no Brandel or DeChambeau. I can't hit things like he can for sure. No way.
All right, Matt. We apparently are moving ever faster in some parts of this world to a Hollywood narrated dystopian future that I just, when you shared this inside marketvitals.io, I'm like, that's got to be a Babylon Bee or, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, it's true. Daniel Andrews unveils new Mandarin-speaking blue helmet-wearing division of Victoria Police to assist with lockdowns, as if the policing there isn't brutal enough and doesn't raise your eyebrows enough and doesn't say, what the fuck is going on in Australia? Yeah. People getting tackled for not having a mask on at the beach. It's unbelievable. And, you know, put them all in blue helmets and have them speak Mandarin while they're kicking your ass. I mean, I think the
Yeah.
Australians.
Before you had your neighbors kicking your ass. Now you got people that really don't like you kicking your ass. So good luck with that. It's going to work out great, I'm sure.
I don't know, and it draws me to this because the narratives and the propaganda are they're never ending. And if you haven't watched the Glenn Greenwald on Rumble about the Hunter Biden story, and I actually tweeted to Glenn because now it's just replace Hunter Biden laptop with any narrative that you want. And this is a perfect example because the Hunter Biden narrative was that 50 former intelligence professionals have signed a letter saying that, and of course they didn't say this is Russian disinformation, although the news kept on saying that. That's not what they said in the letter. But, to this, Biden's vaccine mandate for workers is supported by legal precedents. Experts say, continue with the narrative. We've fucking lost ourselves if we do not right the ship with journalism and call out propaganda 100%.
Yeah, you're starting to see even the biggest of libs, small, on a number of things getting, red pilled on a few things. They're like, oh, well, now it was manufactured. Duh, we knew that 3 years ago. Like you people just refuse to listen to it, and the mainstream media won't tell the real story. But we know it was made up, whether it was the Chinese, whether it was our own internal. That's what I want to know. I don't care at this point. Just figure it out. And that's where the journalism should come in. And as far as Fauci with the gain of function, we know that shit happens. There's paper trail. There's money everywhere. Why is the guy still out there as the only doctor with experience? Yet there's 4,000 of them frontline doctors that are saying this shit is bad for you. Yet nobody talks about that. It's the same stuff. So you have to dig to find the real information. Real journalists like Glenn Greenwald are out there. They just need to speak, and they're out there. But they need bigger platforms, and they're doing what they can. But, please open your eyes and see what's going on, and don't let the shit continue to be, to continue to drag us all down. I don't want to be divided. I'm not your enemy.
Neither am I, Matt. I am your sports betting fan because you can make a lot of money by fading me and my ideas. So, but I saw this FanDuel
Bears.
Bears. I got to tell you, man, I spent the day on the Crooked River fly fishing yesterday and didn't see one snap. And one of the better decisions I've made recently. Anyway, FanDuel parlays fantasy sports into a 1.9 billion betting boom. I think that was just for the month of June when I read the article. I mean, giant money. One thing that America did while they sat at home was figured out how to be a bigger degenerate, right? By drinking and gambling more. I think that's for sure what's come out of this. But it's privately held, or is there any way to get action on FanDuel, or do you just got to play the rest of the market, DraftKings? Or I know we've looked at these markets.
Yeah, we've talked DraftKings, we've talked Penn Gaming, and we can talk one more here, Bob. And that's, we've talked about Flutter. We've talked about it before, Flutter. And that's this. These guys own a piece with FanDuel, but I don't know how big it is. I couldn't find it before the show. Our research assistant Lee was not here for me, so Lee, hey Lee, you can go figure it out out there on next time. So I don't know, Bob. I don't know how much they own, but it's had a nice run again from from the July low, which again, pre-season. Now we've had football. We're 3 weeks in pro football, 4 weeks on the college side. So we're already a third done with, college football. We're about a quarter of the way with 17 games now in the NFL. We're almost a quarter after next week. So, a quarter of the season's done. And so you have to look at the betting as what it is. Now hockey kicks off, which is not a big moneymaker for Vegas.
What the fuck do I know about hockey?
But it's a good betting. It is actually one of the few games that I think the bettor has a real advantage if you understand the game, because not a lot of people follow hockey like they do as Monday morning quarterbacks in the football game. But that being said, Flutter is basically a British company. PDYPY is the symbol, and it's pretty thin. As you can see here on this chart, it is OTC, trades over the counter. But, again, it's kind of in a bracket of 80 to 120. We're at the high end of it. We just, we gasped up to 109 and have pulled back a little bit here around 105. I think FanDuel has done a great job. So has DraftKings. And so, if you want to play on those guys are basically in the fantasy business. And again, I don't get the whole fantasy business, but and I don't understand how these fantasy markets, their prop bets basically aren't regulated the same way picking the Bears over the Packers is.
I wonder on that because the slot machine, it's regulated by a number of what that haircut is, what you can take. And since FanDuel it's just with money and against money, right? The casino has got no risk on it, or who's ever putting the prop bet out, they're going to take a haircut. I mean, it's a giant. They can never lose on the prop bet, right? Yeah, I don't think they can.
Well, again, if you're telling me that $1.9 billion take,
wait a second though. The nuance of the article was they've parlayed their fantasy bettors. That 1.9 billion was bet on games. So they're raking on that.
Right.
Especially because, as you always say, the masses are asses. So, they get whatever they get for the fantasy, but the fantasy players now are betting, San Francisco +4.
So just to, I'm on Flutter's website right now. So they have the Stars Group, Paddy Power, and these are British, and Betfair, which are the big, and then they have Sky Betting and Gaming. So if you want to put your money into Flutter, PDY, PY, or whatever I just told you that symbol is the way to go. And they have 13,000 employees, by the way, across the world. So these guys are crunching numbers, and it's really no different than an analyst group at a bank anymore. That's what these guys are. They're setting lines, they're setting bets that they know will take in money that they can't lose on, to your point. So, if one person wins out of 500,000 on that prop bet, they don't care. They'll pay it out because the other 5,000 lost. That's really what they're doing here. It's a great model.
All right. Our crack team says Flutter is 100% owner of FanDuel. I can't, I'm not going to go to my grave with that, but I enjoy our crack team. And I'm going to put about a 87% competency on that one. Anyway, Matt, let's move on down the road because we talked about this pregame or pre-show. Natural gas market, both the UK, Dutch gas benchmarks have closed at their highest ever settlement level, up another 11% on the day. Holy smokes, and the US and the USS, our former USSR, now the Soviet, it's not Soviet anymore. It's Russia. It's the Russian Federation now.
Yeah, Russia.
The Russian Federation, the biggest users of natural gas on the planet. So this is a giant headwind for U.S. businesses, having gas prices through the roof. I saw another chart of coal prices, absolutely parabolic, the same as these gas prices. You figure inflation. How many more things do we have to put in the headwinds of a stock market before people start to take notice of it? Because it's staggering.
Yeah, and again, we're just, we just wrapped up summer, just entering the fall season, which starts the natural gas, a flame getting triggered, right? Or cooler nights, at least in most of the country. So as you can see, Bob, we've been at 565 and we're right there at 553 right now and have been up there. Nice little pullback are we going to blow out, go through right here, or is this it? Is this a double top? I don't know. But, if you look at the daily, this thing has gone parabolic for sure. And again, the point of control is way back here at 290. Remember, just in March of 20, natural gas was $1.50. So this is painful. I don't care who you are. You're going to feel this when you try to heat your house this winter. If we're anywhere, because let's just compare it to last winter. Even last year at this time in September, we were September 25th, we were trading 260. So you're looking at more than a double of your natural gas pricing. So your heating bill is going to double, period, right here. That's a simple math. And depending on where you are and where you get your natural gas in this country, it could be triple, it could be quad, right? So to your point, Bob, this is real. And then the other thing, that's quietly snuck up again, and we haven't really talked about it, but On the, we mentioned it a little bit on Friday, but we never brought up the chart, is crude oil. Crude oil is also, hitting, new highs last seen since 2018. And believe it or not, between 2018 and now, this thing went negative. So again, upside down world continues. To your point, Bob, at what point does this matter to people? I don't know the answer.
Well, at some point, it all has to matter on business profitability. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have labor problems, if you have wage increases, if you have commodity price increases, you have interest rate increases, all of your supposed
Tax
fixed
increases.
costs,
Don't forget the tax problem.
yeah, all of your supposed fixed costs being fixated completely up your ass. How does it not end up showing in the bottom line profitability? And by the way, with natural gas here, I'm sure the administration will come out on a mandate for no hard-boiled eggs, right? Because it takes more gas. Soft-boiled eggs only.
Only soft.
3 minutes in the water, that's it. They got to come out.
Fried. I mean, fried. A perfect egg over easy takes a little bit longer than a parboiled. So I don't know. Maybe
No
they're just
boiled
gonna.
eggs.
What's that?
No boiled eggs at all. You got
No. But I'm saying an egg over easy, fried, even with the gas, is going to cut. It may even use. So maybe parboiled over fried. I don't know. We're going to have to go to Jen.
And then
we're
the
going to
guys
have to go to Jen Psaki on this one, Bob.
the blue helmets are knocking on your door because you're boiling eggs. I can see it. The dystopian future. It's upon us.
Well,
I don't know, man.
especially if they used your social score when you went to the store to buy your eggs.
All right, Matt, let me share one thing that's on my radar, and that's these little piggies. We had a hog and pig report out on Friday, and mucho bullish on the cutout. Also, hogs right now, October only up 2.7%, but the D's up 6%. Feb up 5.5%, almost 6% also. But I know I've shared before, Matt, very dangerous trading hogs outright. And so I like to play the spread. And I brought this one up before, the D's Feb. All right. And I brought it up here when we went up to just a $-1. And I caught a bunch of this on the way back now. I'm already short this. I don't think it really has a chance to get back to that $- area. I'm more looking at these highs here, somewhere between 250 and 212-ish. And what I really don't want to see is if we go up there, I don't want it to stay there for several days. All right. I don't want this upper band. We talked about bands and their slope being important, especially in the S&Ps and how that story is developing on the weekly, right? For me, I love selling this on a rally, right? But I don't want to see the bands flip and start going up, upward potentiality in the chart. We're going to get a roll here. And a bullish roll being people that are long D's will want to roll to being long Feb. That happens the 5th business day of October. We start rolling that October. Or did we already? We already did that. We did that in September. The OC goes off the 10th business day. Yeah. So October in November. Dude, I'm all confused on the roll cycle here. Anyway, at some point, these long D's are going to move to Feb. And that should make this chart come further south. Not only that, in general, this spread will go from anywhere from what you've seen it here, par to -$2, and it generally ends up going all the way out to $6 or $7 Feb over D's. That's what I'm keeping my eye on in the D's Feb spread and the hogs. As you can see, outright, just a 6% move outright, very dangerous trading these things. A little less risk in the spread. But I got to tell you this, a little less risk in the spread means generally you put too many on and then you have more risk than if you would have just traded it outright. That can happen for sure. Anyway, if you could, I don't know if you can do it. Can you pull up? Because in TradingView, I'm not pulling up the exchange traded spread. I'm pulling up just the subtraction that TradingView does.
Give me
HEZ 2021 minus HEG 2022. And let me know if you can pull that up on a profile basis.
Hang on.
Because I'll be interesting to see your view on. I actually looked at it and I'm a little more nervous when I looked at the profile. than I am on the standard deviation modeling.
What HEG? What
HEG 2022.
minus? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's letting me, Bob. HEZ 20. Well, maybe if I hang on.
Hold on, let me fire it into our private chat and see if the link pulls it up.
Yeah, it worked. Here, hang on a second. I got it.
There we go.
Yeah, it's at the lower end of the profile, so bullish for me here, Bob.
And then where would you want to sell the high end of that value range?
Yeah, it's all up in here, 220.
Okay.
To minus 280. This is how
Right.
This is a 15-minute chart. So yeah. But again, I'm not this is nothing.
No, you know what I love about, because if you said, dude, the risk is up to $1 on that profile. So we got the same area, 280, 250. What's that? 225, the high end of that value?
Yep. 217.
Negative 225. I love it.
Yep.
And if it spends much time above there, I don't want to be in it, because two things are going to happen. For that to happen, it's going to need a couple of days, right? And a couple of days there is going to flip the slope of the standard deviation modeling, and I don't want to be in it. Right. Anyway, let's move on to the stock market.
Yeah, here's something, quietly, by the way, I put this in the community a couple hours ago, that the Russell has climbed up 6.5% in the last 6 days quietly. So it fell, just like before, it rose first and it went all the way up to 2316 or so here. This last one, we went 2100 all the way up. Remember that was a 10% march. Then we just fell back almost all the way back, 160, 70 points back. And now we've gone from 2146 all the way up to 85-ish or so, 88 maybe. So another 140 up here. So the Russell continues to be a great trader. It's still in the overall same range that we've been in. And we've talked about this continuously, but you can still see it. I mean, we're just trading in this. I don't know why my trading view is all funky today, but we've been in the same, general 2100, 2300 now for well over 6 months. And this continues. So just keep playing the brackets, and there's a lot of money to be made, especially in options, and until this breaks. And then when it breaks, it's going to be the next 200. Is it going to be 25 or is it going to be 1900? You place your bets once it breaks, but it has not been able to hold over any of these levels, Bob. So I continue to just kind of, watch this, but here it is. You can see a little bit better. I'm trying to get rid of this fib that I put on there a bit ago. Let me remove that. And your point of control is still back here at 1566. And this is about a 2-year look. So the long term of this chart is, again, unlimited spool on this fly cast, right? We went up until March. And then from March until now, the last 6 months, we've just been bracketed. And 2368 was the high. 2093 was the low, during this period. So this is really where we have been. Not a lot has been happening, but I find this interesting again, that the NASDAQ is down big today because of Amazon primarily, and the SPOOs are down today, and yet the Russell is green significantly. It was up almost 2% just a little bit ago. So I find this to be interesting once again, that they're chasing the small caps. And here it is on the, just looking at the last few weeks of trade, Bob, we tipped down here at 2145, and we just tipped up here all the way again to 2288, let's call it. It's a big move, 6.5% in 6 days. You can annualize that to about a 300% return.
All right, Matt. One other thing here, because I think it goes well with the dystopian future. And you shared this article. Little segment we call Crypto After Dark. And whoa, it started to go again. Matt, the irony of China's most recent Bitcoin ban. It was a great article talking about, and we talked about this on Friday, I believe. in general, when you see a authoritative regime do something, and you're a freedom-loving counter to that, you might want to do the opposite of what they're doing. And so, a decentralized monetary system, for sure, China wants nothing to do with it. And there was a really good article about the irony of that and how they're grasping to keep control of everything. I'm reminded of the Star Wars, Matt. The harder you squeeze, the more things start squeezing out through your fingers. And when I think about that line, I think about those blue helmets in Victoria, Australia. I don't know. Did these people never watch movies that the authoritarian regimes always end up collapsing? Do they not? I don't know. What do you think?
They do. They always end up collapsing, but not without pain and not without war and not without strife. So, but that seems to be the broken human condition. These guys, take an inch and then squeeze a mile out of it, like they've been doing for the last 2.5 years in the deep state, and it just continues and continues. I said it that I think I said to you, this is going to take 6-7 years to play out, and here we are in 2. We're already solidly 2 in, and people start losing their minds about halfway through. So guess what? That's from here to the next year is where we're really going to see people losing their minds. Due to this tyrannical overreach that is beginning. So, and I think that ultimately, the militaries will stand up to broken governments. You got to, and whether that's a coup or otherwise, but people get, but again, in Australia, they gave up their guns a while ago. So it's going to be a little trickier situation there. And yeah, maybe it just becomes an island haven for China now, since, China wants them to not have guns, but we'll have guns. It's like, okay, you guys don't have coal, but we'll keep using coal. We don't need to be a part of it.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of the geopolitics there, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Australia's got the coal. Miami's got the oranges, but Buffalo's got the juice. Anyway. All right, Matt, that's all I got.
I got one more for you, just because.
Please share.
I was looking at this before. Avis Car Rentals. Just thinking about this again. It's been going through the roof quietly, and again, all-time highs here on this reissue. But this thing bottomed in July at 66. Now trading $122, up 10% today, Bob. Rental cars going out through the roof. Even though I don't know anybody that's spending $5,000 a week, but that's what they're charging. I guess all you need is one rental, and that takes care of everything for the rest of the company right now, because nobody else can afford these prices that they're charging. But anyways, keep this one on your left side parabola view. It's obviously very thin, trading about the $8 billion market cap. Trades, I don't know, Avis. I mean, this whole industry is, it's just like, it's ultimately going to crumble on itself, because we know rental cars, just like airlines, don't make money. So I don't need to do any fundamental work to tell you what I just told you, because it's never been any different. So this just started trading, not too long. This has been out there for a while, but think about this, Bob. Back in March, it was $6.
Holy shit.
So it's gone from 6 to 122. I don't know if it's ever been this high. It doesn't look like it. It's at an all-time area is what I'm saying. So be careful. Be careful chasing this stuff. This thing's been parabolic for quite a while here, and for quite some time. I mean, it's really gone 3x since March of this year, when everything's supposedly reopened. It's breaking out to the Netherlands now. Just pointing it out. CAR, C-A-R. I like it on the dark side for the long term.
All right, Matt. All right, please follow us. Join our community, marketvitals.io. Marketvitals.io. Please share the video far and wide. I will see you tomorrow, Matt. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Bobby.
Right on.
Monday Night Football tonight.
Right on, baby.
We're back.